Hiya, I'm Lizzy from Pippin Gile, and today we're going to look at how to make a coil basket using larch and copper wire. The first step is to go and collect your larch. Here I'm just collecting the bits that have blown down in the autumn and winter winds. I'm collecting recently fallen larch because I know that this will still have enough spring in it and won't have started to rot. Now to start the basket, I'm going to get myself into a comfortable position and I'm going to need a few tools to start. A pair of wire cutters is an absolute must, and a pair of round nose pliers is useful to be able to get some really good tension on that wire. I used 0.8mm of copper wire. It was 10 metres long. It was the limiting factor on the size of my basket. For the start of our basket, it's really important that we get the most flexible bits of the larch, so be really selective while choosing your very first ones, because they're going to have to do the tightest spiral at the very centre. Once I'm happy with the collection of twigs, I want to choose exactly what thickness the coil in my basket is going to be. Now, what I don't do is line these all up so they end at exactly the same point. I do actually put a step in. This goes in at about the last sort of centimetre or 2 centimetres. That's the bit that's going to loop back round on itself. And now to get the copper wire, and I just pull out about half a body length, so sort of chest to arm, and then give that a good snip. It's worth just stretching it out as you go to get rid of some of those coils in it as well, being careful you don't get any kinks in it. With the end of the wire, I'm going to start my coil about 5 centimetres away from the end and then wrap towards the end. As I wrap my coils, I'm pulling them nice and tight as I go and catching in the tail on the second wrap there too. So nice tight wraps nearly all the way to the end, and then we're going to look at getting that bend in. So being careful that nothing's snapping, really gently twisting it around. Well, now what we're going to do, we're going to wrap around that double layer, really pinning it in tight, and that's creating the very centre coil of our basket. Once we're happy that that's all secured, we can continue up the end of the coil, wrapping around and around. So it's 5 wraps around and then 1 stitch through to the previous coil of the basket, pulling everything nice and tight, making sure it's all secure. One of the advantages of using wire over any other type of cord is that it's got enough strength you can just poke it through. You don't need to be using an additional needle. And coil basketry is pretty much as simple as that. 5 wraps around the coil and then stitch it through to the previous coil and repeat. It's really important to keep our basket looking professional, that we keep the gauge of our coil consistent. So to do this, just keep adding larch. When you do, add it right into the centre so that you don't get any cheeky little loose ends sticking out later. After a little bit of time, it's very easy to get a good feel for the gauge, and you'll just notice as it starts to go skinny. To add a new wire, I just went for a really simple overlap by about 2 centimetres on either side, and then twist, 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 twist. Now you're wondering how we're going to shape that basket. Unfortunately, it's really easy how we create that basket shape. We just lay our coil exactly where we want it to go. So once the base is the size that we like, the next coil, rather than going beside the basket, goes on top, and then you started forming the walls of your basket. Congratulations. To finish my basket, I chose to add a larch with some cones on the end. I wrapped right up until where I wanted, and then pulled really hard on the round nose pliers and just tucked the end in. Voila,